Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Hey guys, we're your hosts, M and J, and today we're looking at the first episode of the CGI He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon. This is the second He-Man cartoon to come out this year, and only a few months after the first one, Masters of the Universe Revelation. I'm not entirely sure if that helped or hurt the show, but it's aimed at a different audience, in this case the younger generation of children. But after the disappointment that was Revelation, we were basically willing to take anything we could get at this point, and overall this new He-Man show is a lot of fun. It does lean heavily into modern trends. I get they're trying to attract a younger audience, but it seems like they're pulling more from newer trends than the actual source material. This first episode is used to introduce the characters and the world they live in. It's a much different Eternia, with a cyberpunk aesthetic. There are a lot of references for older fans to get a kick out of, and I thought the characterization was pretty strong. And even though it takes liberties with its story and characters, it still manages to tell a compelling story, even if I can't help but feel like the He-Man tie-in is more for branding purposes than anything else. The episode begins with Tila breaking into the royal palace. She's working for Evelyn, or Evelyn, as she's currently going by. She gets in without too much trouble, and then mumbles that Evelyn better pay her this time. So wait, she's been working for Evelyn without getting paid? Why work for her then? I guess there's the magic training, but she doesn't exactly come off as the trustworthy type. She finds the sword and at first isn't very impressed, but is caught off guard when she hears a mysterious voice speaking to her, but she doesn't have time to figure that out because the guards catch up to her, so she has to make a run for it. She ends up leading the guards straight to the extraction point, which Evelyn and her associate Cronus are not happy about. Evelyn's plan is to just kill them, but Tila stops her since they're just doing their job, which is appreciated, and it shows that she has a moral compass that isn't shared by her bosses. Evelyn demands the sword, but Tila hears that voice again. This time it's more clear, saying the sword doesn't belong to Evelyn, so she bolts. Cronus says this is a bust and tells his apprentice Duncan to get them out of there. Evelyn isn't happy, but Cronus tells her they just have to find the girl again, so they make themselves scarce. Tila gets another message from the voice telling her to bring the sword to the champion. She's not really sure what that means, but it's all she has to go on. It then cuts to Adam, who's trying to help a baby tiger off a cliff. In this version, he was taken in by the tiger tribe after being found in the jungle with no memory. Him being raised away from his family and not knowing who he is really more a Doris thing than Adam's, but at least he's being raised in a nurturing environment instead of an evil empire. Adam tries to convince the kitten to come to him, but he's worried that they'll fall, so he refuses to move. Adam tries to reassure him, only for him to lose his footing and end up getting hit in the crotch. Admittedly, I'm not a huge fan of the comedy in this show. I realize comedy is subjective, and it is geared towards a younger audience, and at least the jokes don't drag on, for the most part anyway. But did this have to be our first impression of Adam? He and the kitten struggle to get back to safety, and after some more hijinks ensue, Crass shows up to help them. Crass is this show's version of Ram Man, which is a very big liberty. Admittedly, I don't see why they couldn't just create a new character, or maybe include another character who was female, maybe even bring Andra back. The showrunner here did work on Revelation. Instead we get Ram Mam, but I digress. Adam asks Crass what she's doing out here, so she informs him that Cringer is missing. They ask the kitten about it, and he says that Cringer wanted to go hunting, which is a problem because it turns out Cringer doesn't have claws. As if that isn't bad enough, Cringer's being targeted by poachers. He tries to reason with them, but he's forced into a cage. The poachers imply that their master took Cringer's claws, and they don't want to end up like him. So Adam and Crass mount a rescue, and we get a pretty fun chase scene. So they spring Cringer and are able to go home. Cringer in this version is much different than he's usually portrayed. The joke with him is that he's a big cat, but he's also a scaredy cat. Here he's basically the parental figure for Crass and Adam, and while he can still be fearful, it's more for the sake of his loved ones, rather than being afraid of his own shadow. Cringer insists that he's still gonna do his part as they walk back to the village, even without his claws. Crass comments that that's what a true stripe would say, which is actually a comment to Adam, since humans who are adopted by the tribe get a stripe tattoo. Crass has hers, but Adam doesn't have his yet. Adam says he doesn't need a tattoo to be a part of the tribe, and Cringer says he can get it whenever he feels ready, but apparently in order to get his stripe tattoo, he has to give up this cuff that he has. It's the only thing he has from his life before the tribe, and I'm not really sure why he would have to trade it. Crass got to keep her helmet. Adam is worried that if he doesn't have the cuff, then the people who lost him won't recognize him. Crass says that whoever lost him probably isn't looking for him anymore because it's been 10 years, which is a pretty rude and mean thing to say. Adam just brushes brushes it off, and they make it back to the village to find that everyone is gathered around a tree. There's a lady in the tree, and it turns out to be Tila. The voice in her head told her to come here, but she's just now realizing that she's scared of cats, despite not knowing anything about them. Like, they're very good at climbing trees. The adorable kittens frighten her so much that she falls out of the tree. I mean, I guess they're tiger cubs, but still. Adam tries to catch her, but she catches herself with her magic. Then they have a moment when they introduce themselves, so I assume they're still going with the Adam Tila ship, but that gets interrupted because it turns out the village is afraid of magic, so they throw her in jail for being a magic user. Adam sticks around though, prompting Tila to ask why he isn't afraid of magic like the rest of his people. He says that it's the cats who are afraid of magic, but I am curious about why they're afraid of magic. Adam asks why she would let herself be captured. She probably could just bust out of here. He assumes it's because he's from the jungle and she's from the city, but she says that he's from the city too, and she can tell by his accent. But personally, I don't hear much difference.
Because I'm from the jungle and you're from the city?
Believe me, you're from the city.
I am?
Yeah, your accent sounds like you were born into an upper family.
Maybe I'm just not good with accents? He's very curious about this new information, but she says it's better for him out here than the city, as she claims no one likes the king, and informs him a bit about society. Apparently there are different levels of the city. Street level and below street level really don't like Randor, but apparently even upper doesn't like Randor. This all sounds like pretty interesting world building, but I wish we could see it instead of just being told about it. Adam says the jungle isn't fond of Randor either because he won't do anything about the poaching. It's sad to hear that Randor is a pretty subpar king. His portrayal here and in Revelations have been pretty sad to watch. Adam asks about the voice in her head again, but she says he wouldn't understand. He offers to hear her out, so she explains that the voice wanted her to deliver this package, but she only knows that it's supposed to go to the champion, and she's not sure who that is. Then Adam kind of randomly says that a champion is someone who protects those who can't protect themselves, which catches them both off guard. It's pretty obvious that he's the champion, but they're gonna need a little more time to figure it out. Outside, Crass is stress eating, and Cringer asks if she's jealous of Adam's interest in Tila, implying there's going to be a love triangle between the three of them. Crass denies it though, saying Adam's like a brother to her, and she's just worried he's going to leave the tribe. But Cringer picks up on something, and warns Crass that something's near, and it turns out to be Evelyn, Cronus, and Duncan, who've managed to track Tila to the tribe. They demand Tila be handed over to them, or else they'll burn down their village. When the tribesman tries to attack them, but Cronus is able to take her out pretty easily, and the tribe start panicking because apparently they don't like technology either. Adam sees what's going on and wants to help. As he's about to leave, Tila busts out of the cell using her magic. Evelyn tells Duncan to burn down the village, which he refuses to do since, you know, he's not a bad person. So Cronus calls him a coward and does it himself. Tila gives Adam the sword she stole, telling him to hide it, while she distracts Evelyn and Kronos since she's the one they're looking for. It is cool of her to help them even though she doesn't like cats, plus they threw her in jail. Outside, things are pretty bad. Cringer gets cornered by a robot, but Duncan steps in to help him, officially defecting from Cronus. Cringer thanks him for his help, which catches Duncan off guard since he didn't know the tigers could talk. He's a city boy. Crass comes in mistaking Duncan for an enemy, so Cringer tells her to stand down, since he's on their side now. Adam sees them chasing Tila, and decides to forego the plan to help her. The bad guys manage to corner Tila, and they almost throw her off a cliff, but Adam is able to pull her up. She yells at him to get the sword out of there, but he's just annoyed that he's had a sword this whole time and didn't know it. Under normal circumstances, I don't think he could take the two of them and the bots, even with a sword, but we all know this isn't a normal sword. It ends up reacting to his cuff, which causes an inscription to pop up. Adam reads it, and it says, "By the power of Grayskull, I have the power." He's confused, but it triggers his transformation into He-Man. I still wish He-Man's design wasn't as top-heavy, but it is interesting that they made the Sword of Power to be bulky, kind of like He-Man's design. Adam is very surprised by his transformation, but Tila recognizes the power of Grayskull. Evelyn claims that power will never be yours, but it's kind of late for that. But it cuts away from their fight to show Prince Keldor waking up from some kind of stasis. Apparently he was able to sense the power of Grayskull. The episode ends here, which feels a bit abrupt, but the whole season is available, so it's not that big a big deal. Overall, we thought this was pretty good setup for the series. It introduces the main players while setting up the conflict and gives us some intrigue with the main villain. It also has a lot of fun sequences, and even though it takes liberties with the source material, they've crafted a narrative that's interesting to follow without insulting the original, and we'd recommend checking it out. But that's our opinion. What do you guys think? Do you like this new Masters of the Universe? Or do you think it's too much of a departure from the original? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, everyone. Before we go, we want to give a shout out to our members: Caleb Nelson, Stutania, Tyrant Carnivore, Adam K, Shiny York Boy, The Rabbit Mancer, Hunter Rose, General Bolivar, Depth Charge Media, Samaru163, Gabby Hime, Sandy Martin, Verdant Range, Butcher7 Actual, Dash Hound, JVR, Hussyman42, Nixel, Eric Griffin, Phantom of the Night, and Phil C. Thank you all so much for your support. If you'd like to become a member, you can hit the join button next to the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, you can leave a like and subscribe to the channel. That helps us out a lot too. We also have Buy Me Coffee if you want to support us that way. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video. Bye everyone. Bye guys.